out on the back of the Nintendo, and that's it, man.
That's just really cool. Wait, I saw, and there was all these MIDI bands.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I could have listened to this in high school without it being so hard to do, I would have listened to it all the time.
What are you talking about?
Just like being able to listen to video game music on my headphones was not something I could do when I was a kid. Like, you'd have to record it off the TV somehow.
I've done that.
Yeah, I didn't record. I had VCR stuff, but nothing that went from the TV to my like tape rack. You know, I never hooked the TV to it in that way. I should have done that.
I used to have the way like my family's entertainment system was set up. We had a VCR that had RCA out in and out on the front of it. So if you were, it would be sending the stuff to the VCR anyway. And I think it was set up like a through thing. So your audio could be in parallel with your VCR and your stereo and all that shit. So it all went out. So when you were recording on your VCR, it caught the audio for it and just passed it along to the, however. But it made it super easy for me to take the tape deck we had and just like run the input over to that and record it off of a video game or whatever.
Yeah.
Or just eventually I figured out you could just reroute the back of the Nintendo into a 4-track, which is what I was doing later on.
I didn't have, I wish I had, man, if I had a setup like that, I would have done it. Because I was just recording off of my boombox. So like.
Did you have left and right separate?
No, it had two tape decks and it had a mic. It had one line in.
Okay.
Like for a microphone. And but it also had a microphone on the front if you didn't use that. So if I recorded something off the TV, it would have to have been like hold the boombox up to the TV. It didn't really work. It never really sounded right because I tried to do that and it sounded like shit on my headphones.
The first time I did, because my dad had one of these, like a nice one of the metal fronted, really high end cassette tape recorders. And it had like VU meters on the front and everything. And it had individual gain controls for the left and right channel. So I was able to plug in a drum machine and my guitar and some stuff into like a little mixer, like a cheap mixer.
Wow.
And I ran all of that into one side of it. So I have like bass and guitar going through or bass and drums going through drum machine going through a mixer, or a headphone splitter into that. Then I would overdub guitar on the other side and then play it back in mono.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the most primitive. It was a 2-track tape machine. Basically.
Wow, I was doing that, but I had one less input. Like I had
you just had the one.
I had another boombox.
Yeah.
So I had another radio, so I could play music. I could play music off of a radio into the microphone on the one that was recording, and that way I could make mixes that way because I could crossfade. You could crossfade something from one to the other that way because I couldn't do it any other way. Or if I wanted to be like a DJ announcer, man, I wish I have some of those tapes. I wonder if they're all still any good.
You have tapes?
I have some boxes of tapes.
Kid?
Yeah, but I know I didn't take care of at the time. You know, I was always just re-recording over them. It didn't even cross my mind to save them in that way. You know what I mean?
I have I don't have any of the 4 tracks that'll do it, but I think I have. It's either I might have some of them up here, but definitely at my parents' house. I have a shoebox of 4-track cassette tapes that I made.
Wow,
with my friends.
That's tight.
Yeah, and back then, my high fidelity like mix down thing was a mini disc.
Well, you had a mini disc back then?
I had a mini disc in high school because when I got into doing jazz stuff, all the jazz kids had mini discs.
Oh, I bet they did.
With a Sony stereo mic, which I actually, man, I need to get out. It runs on a watch battery, and it has an 1/8-inch jack, and it's just a stereo condenser mic.
Wow,
but they're really tiny.
That's pretty cool. I didn't. Oh, I know. Excuse me. I remember people having those in college, but I don't think I knew. I knew that they worked pretty good.
A bunch of people borrowed mine in college, but you know what really sucks is my mini disc player. I left batteries in it and then like packed it away for years. And when I found it, the batteries had leaked and ruined it. But the mic is okay. But I'm gonna try the mic out sometime. It's about like about like the size of a marshmallow.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no, I know what you're talking
It's got
about.
a clip on the back, and I got to figure out something cool to use it for, maybe.
I like the way it sounds on drums and stuff, man, because you know how...
well, because of the size. Using it inside a drum or doing something cool like
an
that.
iPhone speaker, something about how they compress drums sound cool sometimes. You know, off of the camera. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I think those would be cool also. Man, speaking of mini discs, I remember I got to play this show with Dave Benny, who is a saxophone hero of mine, doing a random pop gig in L.A. And I talked to him about how a bunch of VCU students at the time, we were all going to 55 Bar and different places and like bootlegging his shows on mini discs. And I was like, man, I have a whole concert of like you and the guitar player. What's the guy's name? Adam something.
Larrabee?
No, not Adam Larrabee, but Adam Rogers and some other. It's just like the sickest jazz. And I was like, yeah, we have all these recordings on mini disc, and it was passed around. And he was like, oh, that's amazing. He was like, yeah, you're like a legend, you know. So yeah, mini disc. Sony need to bring that back. Bring back the mini disc.
No, we don't need it.
Bring it back, man. I want one. I just want one.
We don't need it because the mini disc only did compressed audio.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't even do complete full quality. It was like an MP3 recorder, kind of thing, and it wasn't really that cool. It wasn't that cool. We've got way better. Like those Zoom recorders are.
I mean,
many times. They're so many times better than you can fit more audio on it than on a mini disc, and it's better quality audio. And if you don't want to do that, you just want to do the low quality to get more time.
Yeah.
You can select different grades of lower quality audio.
Yeah.
You can record in stereo.
It's so small though, man.
So is a Zoom recorder.
The new Zooms are small like that now.
They're the same size as a fucking
like this, like a credit card size.
This is the reason. I'll tell you what. This is the reason why the mini disc seems so small. It's because they didn't have a microphone, an XY mic built into it.
Right.
So they could make them smaller.
Small, yeah. It's just a line out.
Also, though, mini discs had a giant thing that goes like this, which broke.
Yeah, that was
true. More moving parts. It was mechanical.
Yeah.
So there's more shit that's going to go wrong.
Yeah.
A Zoom has a solid state hard drive in internal
yeah,
memory.
I'm sure things are better than mini discs.
Oh, yeah.
I want one in a hipster way. I just want one.
You can find just go online.
Get one now because they used to be. They had just all disappeared. Now I guess they're probably on eBay.
You're gonna have more luck finding a unit. You know, like a whole. You know, like a stereo unit. Than the other. Than one of the Walkmans.
Let's. That's probably. Yeah, you're probably right. I'm gonna play some more video game music.
Yeah, man. What you got?
This is from the Michael Jackson Moonwalker.
Yeah, there you go. You're on.
Moonwalker video game. If you don't remember, was a godlike video game, and it had like awesome music version of his song. Mini versions of his song.
What system was this?
It was on Sega. And it was also on
Sega
arcade. It's so awesome. I remember playing this game so much, and you're Michael Jackson, and you're like trying to if you ever seen the Moonwalker movie. Joe Pesci is putting little kids on heroin, and Michael Jackson
is an intense movie for children, man.
And Joe Pesci and like Michael Jackson has to go find Joe Pesci's drug house and go through them and save the kids that are trying to put on heroin.
So fucked up.
Yeah. And then Michael Jackson, he gets so mad at what Joe Pesci does, and he gets cornered, and he turns into a giant mechanical version of himself. There's a big robot and shoots lasers and. Like a mech, like a Voltron, anyway, the video game follows that. You can turn into the giant mech if you get all the stuff, and you're like going through this house and like kicking bad guys, and like dust is flying off your shoes, and you're like spinning and moonwalking up the stairs. Yeah, and like rescuing kids that are tied up, and like
rescuing
them, man. They go, Michael. And then they all like fly away, you saved them. And then once you saved all the kids that are in a building, Bubbles the monkey just like falls down from the sky and like lands on your shoulders. And then he points you into the direction of the boss, and you have to like find your way back through the map while Bubbles is pointing. And then you fight the boss battle, and it's like a bunch of henchmen come out, and you fight them like beat 'em up style. And then, excuse me, if you have enough of your power ups, you hit your special move. And you spin, you go like, woo! And the music all stops.
No.
And then Michael Jackson makes all of the bad guys do some choreography from one of the music videos for a while. And then he all like explode or whatever. So that's the Michael Jackson Moonwalker game. It's a crazy game. It's very hard.
There was that was like the thing of when you were young and you would convince your mom to let you rent a video game for the weekend, and there's that chance you took where it could be cool, like the Michael Jackson Moonwalker game, or man, you could get like Beetlejuice the game, which is Reggie, have you ever had a really
I love the Beetlejuice game.
Have you ever had a really big disappointment though on a video game?
On a game? Oh yeah,
like
especially back then, they would be trash.
My biggest video game disappointment was on Christmas from somewhere in middle school, I think, or early. It had to be early middle school, or maybe it's like 5th grade because it was still NES, and I got the Spider-Man game.
Oh, that game was horrible.
And that's one of those games that was
I remember that one.
Well, it was like not designed right. Like it was almost impossible. Like certain parts were like so difficult and didn't work right all the time. They were glitchy. But then again, nobody gave a shit because it was for kids.
Right.
They were still going to buy them.
Well, especially if a movie came out, they would just be like, "Get the game done. We don't care if it works. We don't care." Like, there's a couple. Either it's the ET game or one of those games.
ET
is you
was
can't
the one,
beat it because it was slapped together so bad.
ET was so bad they put them away. They put them in a landfill. Like they literally put them in a landfill.
Wow. Well, it's like one of the levels they were supposed to like put a key in it to open some door, and they just forgot.
Yeah,
and then you're just stuck on some
updates.
level.
They made them. Another one was Ghostbusters, which is basically
another
impossible.
movie game.
And so Game Genie, the reason Game Genie actually sold was you could get your money's worth for some of the games that were impossible to play by literally fixing the glitches with a cheat thing.
Yeah, or like a hack.
It was a physical,
physical hack.
It was like a cartridge condom that went in there, physically on the cartridge, and you just put it in. And
that was the first time any of us had ever heard of mods or anything. Mods are so huge now, like making your own skins. I know for Street Fighter and all the fighting games, you can go online and see all kinds of mods of people putting their own characters into games. You like put a skin on Ryu and like turn him into the Terminator. And it looks amazing, or just like making whole new video games using mods just yourself.
Oh yeah, doing the hacking games, or you see, I think it was Skyrim for when they remastered, Skyrim.
Oh, I never played Skyrim.
Yeah. Oh, you never did?
I never got into any of those games. Skyrim or WoW or Destiny. Or I know they're not all the same, but the big ones at the time.
Elder Scrolls is
Elder Scrolls.
Elder Scrolls is Skyrim, but Skyrim is like Elder Scrolls. It's the 5th.
I know. That was at the time I wasn't really playing games at all, and those big giant games came out.
Anyway, this is the deal.
What's that?
In Skyrim, when they remastered it, they released, I guess, I don't know, because I don't do PC games, but they kind of, I don't know if they released the code or whatever, but they pretty much let people do their own hacking into it, like with skins and things like that, like cosmetically make it look weird. So they had Skyrim with like Randy Savage as all of the dragons.
I love wrestling.
So I'll show you this real quick. Dragon mod. There you go.
All right, here we go.
And now the Empire is going to put you
down.
down.
At this point, at the beginning of the game, you're like, this is right after you select how you look and all this stuff.
Right.
And they got you in a prison, and you're like, how am I going to break out? And lo and behold, you start hearing a dragon.
Give them their last rites.
Oh, wow. Yeah, send me that link so I can put it in the chat.
Yeah. It's hilarious, though. So listen up.
Shut up and let's get this over.
Learn as you wish.
A little bit.
Nice and easy. What in oblivion?
This game looks like a movie.
Yeah.
Sentries. What do you see? It's in the clouds.
Wow.
Look at the head now.
Let's get a hat on.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah!
That's hilarious. So it's like the dragon has a big Macho Man Randy Savage head with the glasses and the hat.
Yeah, and he keeps going, oh, yeah.
He keeps going, yeah, oh, yeah.